AskReddit. What stopped you from killing yourself that night? I was sitting on a bridge overpass, waiting for a truck. It was 2 AM and I was meant to be going to work. A random person just sat nearby, and even though he was heavily intoxicated, he just talked to me for a bit, then asked if I was okay. It was enough. Thanks, dude. Edit. Thanks for the well wishes. It really shows how nice people are. This is the only place I've talked about it. He saved you and the people you would have traumatized. Hope you are doing better. Yeah, it's something that isn't really talked about. Several years ago I was watching local news and there was this segment where they interviewed a local train conductor. He talked about an instance when a man purposely walked onto the train tracks and was hit and died. The conductor was absolutely devastated and fell into a deep depression. He said that he felt guilty because he wasn't able to stop the train. He couldn't sleep anymore, and he considered taking his own life multiple times. His wife found a support group for train conductors that had been in the same situation. A couple of the train conductors that belonged to the support group had attempted to take their own lives after they had been in the same situation. To anyone reading this, if you are depressed, please reach out for help. There are many people who care and are there to help you. My little sister and I only have each other. The rest of the family hates us. Like, it's not even questionable. They hate us. I was about to call it a day forever and it felt like I was abandoning her. I tried to do it 3 times that night and all 3 times, I felt like I was about to make her life worse. I keep picturing her having to do life alone. It felt like I was sentencing her to the same fate. She's still the reason I keep going. Honestly, you made the right choice that night. Because it would have made it harder on your sister to live without you. It sounds you two have a very good sibling relationship. I hope life has gotten better for you and I wish you guys the best. Thank you. And you're right. It would have been a mistake. My sister just had a baby and I am glad I got to meet her. We're building a new family with better support system. I wouldn't have seen how amazing life is now for my sister if I didn't go through with it. My friend invited me to a party and I was gonna skip it to do that, but I forgot she was picking me up, so I went to the party. Almost the exact same for me too. I had a plan, had the means to execute the plan, and set a date. Turns out that date happened to be a cute girl's birthday, and for some reason she had invited me. I figured I could kill myself another day and went to the party. We talked a bit at the party and she confessed that she had invited me because she was worried about me and she wanted to make sure I was okay. I kinda just forgot to kill myself after that. I was writing the note and crying with the pills next to me when my dog came up to me and looked very concerned. I refused to look at him and went to put him in the cage. As I locked it and went to go sit back down, he howled. He has never done this in his life and he loves relaxing in his cage with his toys. It shocked me and I tried to calm him down, but he just kept getting louder. I finally opened the cage and he literally jumped into my arms and started kissing me and cuddled into my neck. I broke down crying, crumpled up the note and just went to bed. Usually my dog sleeps down by my legs and won't stare up by my face and cuddle. But that night he stayed in my arms and slept through the whole night. Edit. This is my most popular Reddit comment I've ever made, lol. There are so many comments. I wish I could reply to them all. Thank you so much for the upvotes, comments and support. My sweet boy's name is Bosco. He is a Chihuahua Dachshund mix and he is my savior. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him. These 5 years of having him by my side have honestly been the best moments of my life. He is happy, playful, healthy, and very in tune with my emotions. Actually, my psychiatrist doctor suggested I get him registered as an emotional support animal. And I just ordered the papers 2 days ago. Just figured all you sweet humans deserve some more details about this wonderful boy. The best of boys. Edit. This is my most popular Reddit comment by like 3 orders of magnitude. And I am totally okay with this. Dogs are the best. I was sitting on my bed with gun in hand, letter written. Tears just uncontrollably flowing. Got a call from an old friend. Didn't answer, but he left me a VM. He said, I was just thinking of you and miss you, bud. I put the gun away and found a therapist the next week. Ever since that day, anytime someone pops in my head I try and give them a call. If they don't answer I always leave a voicemail. BTW, I'm doing great now. Does that friend know? Not all the details, but I told him I was in a very dark place and that his call meant the world to me. He still calls to check up on my every couple weeks. Been friends since middle school. I truly believe the friends popping up in your head, reach out thing. I have a friend who somehow always thinks of me when I'm having a hard time, and I've thought of friends who told me they really needed the text call when I think of them. Humanity is magical when all the bullshit is striped away. Glad you're still here and have that kind of friend. My best friend in high school shot himself, so this is a very emotional thread. Before we go further, please press the red subscribe button below if you're enjoying this so far. My wife died in December. I held my hunting knife to my carotid and pushed until I could feel my pulse through the blade. I thought, who will find me? Probably my son. I held off and went to bed. He woke up in the middle of the night and came into my room to sleep in my bed. I took it as a sign and plan on staying around. For them. For her. One of my best friends confided in me he tried to do the same thing with a blade a few years ago. It was really heartbreaking to hear that, and I am heartbroken for you reading this. Just hold out another day, and again if you ever get that low again. 2 bullets in a row failed to fire in my revolver. I now wear them as a necklace. Man, the fact you misfired once and went for a second attempt is crazy. I'm galled it misfired a second time, a bit like to tell you, bruh, didn't you get the message on the first attempt? This is the level of stubborn I am too, even with billboards telling me otherwise. Got a bunch of bad news and bad things happen all at once. Hit rock bottom. Was feeling numb and manic. I was walking back home and realized I was going to kill myself, but I knew it was a bad decision. Called my friends. Told them, hey, if I go back to my apartment right now I'm going to shoot myself. Can you help me? They said cool, came and picked me up and took me to their place. One of them gave me meds to sleep on their couch, the other went to my house and took my gun away somewhere else. I slept for hours, woke up and they made me dinner. Stayed there for a day until I felt better. Never had any suicidal tendencies before, never had them since. I just hit a bad point that my brain couldn't process. Fortunately I knew it was a dumb idea and I have amazing friends. All my problems turned out to be manageable and I'm glad I could recognize that I was making a stupid rash decision. Life is beautiful, it sucks sometimes but it's not worth giving up on for temporary problems. We'd been to a local shop earlier that day. It was our little tradition that whenever we'd go, I'd buy her those small packets of thingies. Small packets of crisps that go for like 10p each. I was planning on doing it that night after she went back to her mum's. So, I picked a couple of cheese flavored ones and set off on the way home. I'd opened the first packet and was eating them. The smell of cheese crisps filled the car. I couldn't resist. I put my hand over my shoulder and said, can I have one? She placed one in my hand from the back of the car and I popped it into my mouth. It dissolved and it tasted so good. Then when it was gone, I asked for another. By this point we were almost home. She placed another into my waiting hand, reaching over my shoulder, and when I placed it into my mouth, I realized it didn't taste like the first one. It was wet and flavorless. She had licked it. I said jokingly, did you lick it? No, she said. I didn't lick it. She was still learning to form sentences, so everything she said was super cute. I parked the car, removed my seatbelt, turned in my seat to look back at her and said, give me another one. That one wasn't nice. That's when she held up empty packets in both hands and said, it's finished, Dad. That's when it hit me. It was wet and flavorless because she removed it from her own mouth, so I could have the last one. She must have already put it in her own mouth when I asked for it and taken it out so I could have it. I became so overwhelmed with emotion I had to turn around and pretend like everything was okay. That was the day I decided I wasn't going to kill myself. This one brought me to full tears. I hope you and her are both doing well. A cop. I was going through a horrible breakup and was on a motorcycle. I was planning on kissing a wall. As I was driving down the side road around 10 PM after leaving her house heading towards the interstate, I saw headlights in a parking lot. I was in tears and I saw police on the side of it. I pulled up beside him and asked him if I could talk to him. He said yes, took my name and reported in that he was talking to me. Once he was done with that he goes, "So what's up man, I lost it." Broke down and was a mess for a whole hour. This cop sat there and listened, and I mean really listened. Talked about life with me. Told me I would do great things, etc. I mean he really saved my life. He gave me his card with his personal number on it, and I called him back 4-5 years later and told him who I was and thanked him for what he did that night. I still think about him every now and then. The police catch a lot of flack, but there are so many just like him that want to help people. I wish more interactions like mine were put out there. That man is the definition of a hero emo. Hey man, that cop was awesome and you're totally right about him and others like him, but don't sell yourself short. He had the easier part. What you did, stopping and asking for help, was pretty damn heroic. That shit is hard to do. Legit and honest answer. I was listening to my favorite band, Metallica, with my loaded gun in my hand, and the song Low Man's lyric came on the playlist. I had a really good cry, and decided I wasn't going to let my feelings and depression get the best of me after I analyzed the lyrics. One day I'll meet James Hetfield, and be able to thank him for saving my life. Edit. Geez, this comment blew up way more than I ever could have thought, and I did not expect that me sharing a little bit of myself to strangers on the internet would have this response. Thank you to those of you that offered kind words, both here and through my inbox. This all happened back in 2012, and I am far removed from those days of feeling like I don't want to live. I have truly discovered what happiness is. She keeps me satisfied. Sorry, shameless Metallica lyric reference. IYKYK. If I can be so bold to use this opportunity, since many people still may come across this post, I want to encourage you to find someone to talk to if you have those same feelings of emptiness and despair. Yes, it's cliche to say you're not alone, but you aren't, and you damn sure don't have to be. Fuck, message me if you need to. Death should never be an option. Happiness can be elusive and seemingly extinct, but I exist today as living proof that happiness is well within reach. Do not be ashamed or embarrassed. We all stumble, and we all need a shoulder to lean on or even cry on sometimes. We are imperfect beings, but we are all better together, and we means you too. We can't form the fucking Megazord and defeat Rita's minions without you. Hot Pockets. I was sitting in a corner of my kitchen holding the knife to my wrist when the old Hot Pockets jingle randomly got stuck in my head. My uncle was one of my best friends when I was growing up, and when I was young, I'd watch TV with him and make fun of the jingles. The only one I remember as an adult was the Hot Pockets jingle, the one he'd swapped lyrics out for that made me laugh the hardest. He'd died by suicide earlier that year. I realized I couldn't do it. I'd like to think he got that jingle stuck in my head to make me laugh, and to remind me that there was still space for laughter in my life. I put the knife away. Nothing. I fully killed myself. Wife got home and found me and did CPR. Edit. On that afternoon, nothing stopped me. I gave up. On another afternoon, in a hospital after not eating or drinking for 5 days, I had a code blue and a nurse was exactly in the right place to catch me, and another nurse had to convince me to start eating and drinking again. Now, my wife is what stops me. I will not leave her holding the bag for as long as I am in my right mind, and will try to get help if somehow I am not again. Though I think we've got my meds fairly well figured out, and with my thyroid cancer dealt with, my body is much more stable. My thyroid was all out of whack before and I was suicidal and having seizures. So glad to be normal now. You deserved another day. Keep going. You got this. Turns out I had cancer, so now I'm alive and fighting that. I live for my wife and nothing else. I've lost my kids, my house, my family. It's the kids that eat me daily. When I got sick, my adoptive family kidnapped my biological kids and it just kills me constantly. My job is not going well, my brain has been changed by cancer treatments and I'm just struggling at work. I'm afraid of losing my job and can't figure out how to provide for my wife who is going blind. I'm doing my best. I'm here for her. This is her time now. Straight up, I'm petty as fuck. My body is failing me because of a spinal cord injury years ago. My fiance left me. I resigned my job in disgrace. I was living in a crumbling house, isolated from my entire support system and friends. I lost all executive function, and besides occasionally door dashing, I had no income. I was slowly burning through my savings over 5 months. I had some left, but the well was running dry. My ex was already aware of what was going on, and she was literally the only person I could call. I called her and told her what I was planning to do at about 9 PM at night. After our breakup, she said she would always be there when I needed her. We spoke a few times. I had no intention of taking her back. She cheated. I just needed someone to talk to. When she answered, she was annoyed. When I told her my plan, she literally groaned and said I'm just so busy with my new relationship and work. I told her I understood and hung up. I felt the worst I've ever felt in my entire life. Then an hour later she posted on her story a video of her relaxing on the couch, watching Netflix with her dog, and my misery was dialed up a notch. I was so angry at her. I decided in that moment, staring at her stupid fucking story, that I was going to be better than her in every aspect of life. That was my motivation. It hit me like a freight train. I checked myself in for a 72-hour grippy sock vacation. I sold my disgusting scam of a house for a loss, and I moved back to my hometown. I went back to job I had worked years prior and started doing something other than cry on my couch. My social life improved, my mental state improved, and I had money again. Then I started going to the gym, taking online classes, and I took therapy much more seriously. My ex was in a ski accident. She lost her job. Her boyfriend, that she cheated on me with, left her because he found out that she was a cheater. Shout out Phil. I got really drunk and posted a long series of texts on a social media platform, and a lot of people got worried. 4 different police deps called, a couple from different states, and eventually the local PD tracked me down and talked to me for a solid 2 hours. One of the cops even gave me his personal number. I was tying a noose at the time but hid it before they came in. I denied that I needed to go to the ER. Sobered up, deleted all the posts and hid from my phone for a few days out of complete embarrassment. People I haven't talked to in years came out of the woodwork to check on me. Honestly, I still wish I didn't broadcast it that night. Most people see stuff like that as a cry for help, but for me it was my final suicide letter. I wanted specific people to know I hate them. At that moment I was at complete bliss with the idea. Can't guarantee for sure I won't try it in the future, but if I do I'll keep it to a simple letter and no social media. My second to last attempt I got lucky. I remember tying a short enough noose that all I had to do was sit down and lose consciousness, and the lack of oxygen would do the rest. I remember passing out, waking up around 6 AM outside of the noose, and then going to work. My guess is my body convulsed while I was unconscious, and that was enough to escape. Thanks for watching. Please press the like button if you enjoyed and the notification bell next to the subscribe button to never miss another video. Let me know your thoughts below. Bye.